Love knows no limits, but for much of history, loving someone of a different race was considered not just taboo, it was illegal. Imagine being thrown in jail simply for loving someone who didn't look like you. As unbelievable as it may sound now, not too long ago, white men who fell in love with black women were often met with severe punishment, public shaming, and sometimes even incarceration. In this video, we'll dive into the stories of iconic white men who broke society's rules to be with the women they loved. Some of their stories are filled with courage and hope, while others are tinged with sorrow and struggle. But all of them are unforgettable, revealing the price they paid for choosing love over hate. Get ready to journey through a powerful chapter of history that shows how far we've come. And how, first up, let's talk about one of the most powerful love stories in American history. Richard Loving and Mildred Jeter. Their relationship didn't just capture hearts, it changed the course of American law forever. Richard was a white man from Central Point, Virginia, and Mildred was a black woman with both African American and Native American roots. In 1958, they made a bold choice, despite knowing the risks, to travel to Washington, D.C., where interracial marriages were legal, to get married. At the time, Virginia's anti-miscegenation laws made their love illegal, but that didn't stop them. Soon after their wedding, the couple returned to Virginia only to be arrested a month later. They were charged with violating Virginia's laws against interracial marriage, and despite their love, they pled guilty. The court sentenced them to a year in prison. But there was a catch. The sentence was suspended on the condition that they leave Virginia and not return for 25 years. Forced to leave everything they knew, Richard and Mildred moved to Washington, D.C. But their hearts still longed for home. Frustrated by their situation, Mildred reached out to none other than then Attorney General Robert Kennedy, who directed her to the American Civil Liberties Union. The ACLU took on their case, and in 1967, their fight for justice reached the U.S. Supreme Court. In a historic decision, Loving v. Virginia. Virginia struck down all state laws banning interracial marriage, declaring them unconstitutional. Richard, a man of few words, captured the heart of the case with his simple yet powerful statement to his lawyer. "Tell the court I love my wife, and it's unfair that we can't live together in Virginia." Their victory was more than just a personal win. It was a game changer for future generations. Thanks to Richard and Mildred's courage, people could finally marry whoever they loved, no matter their race. Looking back on it later in life, Mildred was deeply proud that their fight for love had helped pave the way for equality for so many others. But while their story was groundbreaking, it wasn't the only tale of defying social norms in the name of love. Next, John Barry Ryan III, a man who refused to be confined by society's expectations. When he met the captivating Eartha Kitt, he chose love over everything else, even approval from his social circle. Eartha was no ordinary performer. Known for her sultry voice, mesmerizing stage presence, and iconic songs like Santa Baby and Siete Si Bon, she was a force to be reckoned with. But beyond her fame, Eartha was a trailblazer in her own right, breaking barriers as a black woman in the entertainment world. When John and Eartha crossed paths in the 1950s, sparks flew immediately. Their romance blossomed during a time when interracial relationships were still deeply frowned upon, especially for someone like John. Coming from an elite white family, he wasn't the kind of man society expected to fall in love with a black woman. But their love didn't care about society's rules. It was raw, real, and unapologetic. For Eartha, being a successful African-American woman in Hollywood was hard enough, but dating John Barry Ryan III only added fuel to the fire. Back in those days, people didn't hold back when it came to their opinions. The gossip, The judgment, it was everywhere. Every time John and Eartha stepped out together, eyes were on them, whispers followed them, and society wasn't shy about showing its disapproval. But despite all of that, they didn't let it stop them. They were determined to make their relationship work, no matter the obstacles. Still, the weight of society's expectations took its toll. Eartha, especially, felt the strain. The backlash wasn't just aimed at their personal lives. It started to seep into her career too. The constant judgment and pressure began to affect her work, and the world wasn't kind to someone who dared to love across racial lines. Years later, Eartha would recall how, despite their deep love for each other, the societal pressures became unbearable. The love they shared was real, but it wasn't enough to withstand the overwhelming weight of the world around them. They eventually parted ways, but the bond they shared stayed with them both, marking their lives in ways that couldn't be erased. In her later years, Eartha reflected on what she and John had been through. She remembered him as one of the few people who truly saw her, not as the famous performer, but as a person. He saw her for who she was, beyond the public image. Eartha often spoke of how their relationship taught her invaluable lessons about strength and resilience. "We weren't rejected for who we were," she said, "but for what society thought we represented. An interracial couple daring to exist in a world that wasn't ready for us." If you're familiar with South Park and its over-the-top humor, you probably know Matt Stone as one of the masterminds behind the animated show. But behind the sarcasm and wild satire that's made South Park a cultural phenomenon, Matt's personal life paints a much more down-to-earth picture. In 2008, Matt Stone married Angela Howard, a brilliant and grounded woman who just so happens to be Black. Together, they've created a quietly happy life away from the prying eyes of the media, raising 2 kids and keeping their family life private. It's not a typical Hollywood love story. There's no red carpet romance or public spectacle. Instead, it's a partnership built on simplicity, love, and a focus on what really matters: their family. But of course, being an interracial couple in the spotlight brings its own set of challenges. While Matt preferred to keep his personal life out of the press, the public couldn't help but take notice. People speculated, judged, and talked, but Matt and Angela simply didn't let it get to them. They chose to tune out the noise and focus on their relationship, which, for them, was all that mattered. What's especially interesting about their dynamic is how they've managed to balance fame without letting it consume them. Matt's work on South Park thrusts him into the limelight, but Angela has always remained comfortably out of it. She's never been interested in fame, and Matt has often mentioned how incredibly supportive she's been of his career. Still, the couple has done what many celebrity duos struggle with. They've kept their private lives just that, private. Angela's unshakable sense of self and Matt's deep love for her have allowed them to rise above the gossip and the public's curiosity about their interracial marriage. Through it all, they've built a strong, loving relationship filled with laughter, warmth, and the occasional South Park joke, proving that love doesn't need to be flashy to be real. Errol Flynn, the swashbuckling star known for his daring roles on screen and even wilder off-screen escapades, was the kind of actor who lived life like a true adventure. But perhaps one of the boldest, most unexpected chapters of his life didn't play out in a film. It was the time he found himself completely captivated by Eartha Kitt. Yes, the same Eartha Kitt who famously had a relationship with John Barry Ryan III. But long before that, she was involved with Flynn in the early 1950s, a time when interracial relationships were met with skepticism, hostility, and even outright condemnation. For Errol, a man already no stranger to scandal, dating Eartha only added more fuel to the fire. But for Eartha, it was a far riskier situation. She had much more to lose, not just personally, but professionally as well. Their romance, intense and passionate as it was, couldn't survive in such a racially charged atmosphere. Eartha later described Flynn as a thrilling lover, someone who brought excitement into her life. But even the most electric connection couldn't shield them from the harsh realities of the time. Society wasn't just unaccepting of their love, it was actively hostile. For Flynn, who had a devil-may-care attitude, their relationship was just another chapter in his adventurous life. But for Eartha, it was far more complicated. It was a love affair that threatened her career, her reputation, and her place in a world that wasn't ready for their union. Looking back, Eartha reflected on the roller coaster nature of their time together. She said it was exciting, full of passion and energy, but also fraught with challenges. Errol, she noted, had this irresistible charm, but the world around them simply wasn't ready to accept a couple like them. Every move they made was watched, judged, and scrutinized. It was exhilarating, yes, but also emotionally exhausting. Their love story was a bold, beautiful, and complicated chapter in both of their lives, one marked by both joy and struggle. Fast forward a few decades, and a different kind of love story would unfold, this time between David Bowie and Iman. David Bowie, the chameleon of music and fashion, was known for his eccentric, boundary-pushing persona. But in 1992, when he married Somali-born supermodel Iman, he found something that grounded him in a way his fame never could. Their love story was one for the ages, unexpected, defiant, and unapologetically real. David Bowie, the British rock icon, and Iman, the striking supermodel, could have been plucked from the pages of a high-fashion magazine. Together, they looked like perfection, but their connection was about so much more than just appearances or fame. It ran deeper, a bond that defied the shallow judgments of the world around them. Bowie often called Iman his muse, the spark that fueled his creativity and brought out his most inspired work. But behind the glitter of their stardom, they had their own struggles to face, particularly the challenges that came with being an interracial couple in a world that still saw them as different. Iman, who had already shattered so many barriers in her own career, was no stranger to the complexities of being a black woman married to a white man. She had spoken openly about the unique pressures they faced from both the public and the media. The constant media scrutiny was intense, and the public's obsession with their relationship often took a racial focus. Yet none of that fazed Bowie. For him, the only thing that mattered was the love he had for Iman. He never gave a second thought to the opinions of outsiders or the harsh spotlight they were under. To him, she was everything. The woman who inspired him, challenged him, and stood by him. And no amount of judgment could ever change that. In interviews, Iman often talked about how Bowie's love for her went beyond race or status. It was about two people who truly saw and understood each other. Their connection was built on a foundation of deep respect, and they supported each other through every peak and valley. For them, love was the only thing that mattered, and for decades, they proved that love wasn't just a feeling, it was a commitment. Then came Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Their romance wasn't just another fairy tale for the tabloids. It was a modern love story that captured the attention of the world. Meghan, a biracial American actress, was a breath of fresh air for the British royal family, but her entry into that world sparked a whirlwind of controversy. Their relationship became a battleground for debates on race, class, and the relevance of the monarchy in the 21st century. From the very start, Meghan faced relentless scrutiny, especially from the British press. Her mixed-race heritage became a focal point, and much of the media's coverage was laced with racism. But Harry, having witnessed firsthand how the press had torn apart his mother, Princess Diana, wasn't about to let history repeat itself. He became fiercely protective of Meghan, vowing not to let her endure the same treatment. their love story was anything but easy. They were met with fierce backlash from the media, from some within the royal family, and from critics across the globe. But Harry and Meghan refused to back down. Despite the constant challenges, they chose to live life on their own terms, proving that love, above all else, was worth fighting for. When Harry and Meghan made the decision to step back from their royal duties and move to the United States, it was a bold, game-changing move that sent shockwaves through the monarchy. But for them, it wasn't just about escaping the crushing pressure of royal life. It was about protecting their family. They chose to prioritize their peace and their children's future, even if it meant facing relentless public criticism. And though they've continued to be under the microscope, their bond remains unshaken, as strong as ever. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando wasn't just the iconic star of The Godfather and A Streetcar Named Desire. He was a man who constantly pushed against the norms of society, both on screen and in his personal life. Brando lived by his own rules, challenging the status quo in ways that others weren't willing to. One of his most rebellious acts? His relationship with Dorothy Dandridge, the groundbreaking actress who dazzled audiences with her performance in Carmen Jones. Dorothy was a trailblazer in her own right, the first African-American woman to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress. Yet, despite her incredible achievement, many believed her loss at the Oscars was due to the racial biases that still permeated Hollywood at the time. The connection between Brando and Dandridge was electric, and their love story began in the 1950s, when interracial relationships were still widely frowned upon. Despite the backlash they knew they would face, they kept their romance largely out of the public eye, carefully avoiding the media's prying gaze. They understood the controversy their relationship could stir, and they chose to protect their privacy. In a rare moment of reflection, Dorothy once said that Marlon truly understood her in a way that few others did. He respected her, not just for her beauty or her talent, but for who she was at her core. For Dorothy, their time together was like an oasis, an escape from a world that often showed her nothing but bitterness. Even though society was ready to judge them, their love was a quiet rebellion, one they shared in the privacy of their own hearts. Marlon Brando was never one to shy away from speaking out against racial injustice. He didn't view race as a barrier in relationships, and he made it clear that he believed the real divide in society wasn't about skin color. It was about the capitalist system that perpetuated inequality. In Brando's eyes, Hollywood wasn't concerned with race. It only cared about one color: green. Joshua Jackson, an actor best known for Dawson's Creek and The Affair, found himself in the spotlight for reasons beyond his acting career. He started dating Jodie Turner-Smith, a talented British-born actress who had made waves with her role in Queen and Slim. Their connection was instant, and before long, they were making headlines as a couple. In 2019, they got married, and by April 2020, they welcomed their daughter, Juno, cementing their place as a modern-day example of love and family. But like any high-profile interracial couple, Joshua and Jodie weren't immune to public scrutiny. Despite their seemingly perfect romance, their relationship was often under the microscope. Some fans celebrated their love, while others questioned it. Jodie, in particular, faced harsh criticism on social media, with some followers vocal about their disapproval of their union. But neither Jodie nor Joshua backed down. They were unwavering in their commitment to each other, fiercely protective of their love and their family. Jodie didn't stay silent in the face of the backlash. She boldly declared that love should never be judged by the color of one's skin. She and Joshua's bond showed the world that love, in its purest form, knows no boundaries. However, in 2023, after several years of marriage, Jodie filed for divorce. The details of their separation remain private, but their journey together served as a reminder of both the beauty and the challenges that come with interracial relationships in today's world. Proof that love, while powerful, is never without its hurdles. When George Lucas, the visionary behind Star Wars, married Mellody Hobson in 2013, it was a union that symbolized love-breaking boundaries across both racial and generational lines. Mellody, a powerful businesswoman and the president of Errol Investments, came from a world far removed from Lucas's Hollywood filmmaking empire. Yet, despite their differences, they created a partnership that radiated respect, success, and a deep affection for one another. Their relationship became a symbol of unity. But like many interracial couples, they weren't immune to whispers and judgment from some corners of society. Despite the criticism, their love story stood strong, a testament to their connection. In 2013, they expanded their family with the arrival of their daughter, Everest, who was born via surrogate. This new chapter brought George into a new role, father to a young child, adding yet another layer to his rich family life. George had already been a father to 3 children from previous relationships. Amanda, born in 1981 from his first marriage to Marsha Lou Griffin, and 2 children, Katie and Jet, whom he adopted as a single parent. His marriage to Mellody marked a second chance at love and a fresh start. Together, they've managed to balance their busy professional lives with family, all while remaining relatively low-key in the public eye. Instead of chasing fame, they focused on what truly matters: family, love, and giving back through their philanthropic efforts. Next, Robert De Niro and Grace Hightower. Robert De Niro, one of Hollywood's most iconic and respected actors, has always been surrounded by the glitz and glamour of the film industry. But when it came to his personal life, his relationship with Grace Hightower, an African-American actress and philanthropist, was one of the most profound and enduring stories of his life. Their paths first crossed in the 1980s, when Grace was working at a restaurant in London. After years of dating, the couple tied the knot in 1997, starting a new chapter together. Their marriage was full of highs and lows, a true roller coaster ride. Just a year after their wedding, they celebrated the birth of their first son, Elliot, in 1998, adding joy to their lives. However, their relationship soon hit a rough patch. In 1999, they filed for divorce, shocking many. But in a twist, they managed to reconcile and rebuild their bond. By 2004, they had renewed their vows in a heartfelt ceremony, surrounded by close friends, including Hollywood A-listers like Meryl Streep and Ben Stiller. In 2011, their family grew with the arrival of their second child, a daughter named Helen Grace, born via surrogate. It seemed like the couple had weathered the toughest storms and come out stronger. But in 2018, after more than 2 decades together, they filed for divorce once again. Their split was finalized in 2019, marking the end of a complicated yet deeply personal chapter in both their lives. Even after his split from Grace, Robert De Niro has been outspoken about the importance of family. He's often said that nothing in life matters more than being there for his kids. Grace, too, has shared her thoughts on motherhood, stressing that love, patience, and unwavering support are the foundations of raising children, no matter what challenges marriage may bring. But what many don't know is that before his relationship with Grace, De Niro had been married to another African-American actress, Dion Abbott. The two tied the knot in 1976 and had a son, Raphael, but eventually parted ways in 1988. Throughout his life, De Niro has never hidden his relationships with Black women, always proving that love truly transcends color. Next up is the love story of legendary film critic Roger Ebert and his wife Chaz Hammersmith. Roger, known for his sharp reviews and passion for cinema, found a different kind of joy later in life: love. At 50, in 1992, he married Chaz, a talented attorney. Their relationship didn't start with fireworks, but instead grew slowly. built on mutual respect, deep admiration, and a shared love for life. Despite their different worlds, Roger in the public eye and Chaz in the legal field, they found a way to support each other's passions. Chaz wasn't just Roger's wife. She was his rock, his fiercest advocate. This became especially clear when Roger was diagnosed with cancer, losing his ability to speak. Through it all, Chaz ensured that he continued to have a voice in the world through his writing and presence in the film industry. Their marriage, which lasted until Roger's death in 2013, was the ultimate example of partnership. Chaz continues to speak fondly of their time together, remembering it as a relationship filled with love, learning, and shared victories. Their story proves that love isn't just about grand gestures. It's about the quiet, everyday moments of support and companionship that make a marriage truly special. Tom Jones and Mary Wilson's romance is like something straight out of a classic 60s love song, brief, passionate, and unforgettable. By the mid-1960s, Tom Jones, the Welsh heartthrob with that deep, sultry voice, was already an international sensation. His hits, like It's Not Unusual and What's New Pussycat, were blasting through radios around the world. Meanwhile, Mary Wilson was conquering the music world as one of the original Supremes, Motown's legendary all-female group behind iconic hits like Baby Love and Stop in the Name of Love. Their paths crossed at the height of their careers, and despite their busy schedules, they managed to find time for each other. Their connection went beyond just physical attraction. Tom was drawn to Mary's charm, grace, and immense talent. Mary, in turn, was captivated by Tom's charisma and how he could command a room with just his presence. However, their love story played out during a time when interracial relationships were still frowned upon, so they had to keep their romance under wraps. But even in secrecy, their bond was electric, full of excitement and undeniable passion. In her autobiography, Dream Girl, My Life as a Supreme, Mary described their relationship as intense and unforgettable, a connection that left an indelible mark on both of them. Though their romance was short-lived, thanks in part to the demands of their careers, the memories lingered. Tom Jones later spoke fondly of Mary, often praising her beauty and talent in interviews, reflecting on the special bond they shared. Despite its fleeting nature, their love affair remains one of those unforgettable moments in pop culture history. It was a love story that, though brief, still stands out as one of the most captivating romances of the 1960s music scene. Their connection was electric, and even now, decades later, people still talk about the magic between them. Now, fast forward to a modern love story. Justin Chambers and Keisha. When Justin isn't busy saving lives as Doctor Alex Karev on Grey's Anatomy, he's at home, playing the role of devoted husband and father. Back in 1993, before he became a household name, Justin tied the knot with Keisha Chambers. Keisha, a former model agency booker, met Justin while they were both working in the fashion industry, and their chemistry was undeniable from the start. Despite his skyrocketing career in Hollywood, Justin has always made family his top priority. Together, they've raised 5 kids: Isabella, twins Maya and Kayla, Ava, and Jackson. Juggling a successful acting career with fatherhood is no easy task, but Justin and Keisha seem to have cracked the code on how to make it work. Their long-lasting marriage is a rare gem in an industry where celebrity relationships often fall apart under the pressure. Over the years, Justin has spoken lovingly about his wife, often crediting her as his anchor in a world that can be chaotic and unpredictable. Their low-key approach to life and love has kept them out of the media frenzy that can tear many Hollywood marriages apart. While Justin's name may be known around the world, at home, he's just a dedicated father and loving husband. Their story proves that true love can thrive, even amidst the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. Celebrity chef Wolfgang Puck is known for his culinary genius, but his life outside the kitchen is just as rich and rewarding. In 2007, Wolfgang married Gelila Asefa, an Ethiopian-born fashion designer, and together they've built a life that revolves around family, giving back, and, of course, food. Their connection was instant when they first met at an event, and it didn't take long for them to realize they were a perfect match. Even though Wolfgang was already a global culinary icon, Gelila was no stranger to success herself. As a talented fashion designer, she carved out her own space in a competitive industry. By the time they tied the knot, they were already parents to two sons, Oliver, born in 2005, and Alexander, born in 2006. Wolfgang also had two children from a previous marriage, but with Gelila, he found a partnership that felt more complete, more balanced. Together, they've created a family environment that thrives on creativity, mutual respect, and a shared passion for philanthropy. Gelila has been a powerful force behind many of Wolfgang's charitable efforts, helping raise millions for various causes while still maintaining a successful career of her own. Their marriage is a blend of old-world romance and modern-day teamwork, with both of them supporting each other in all areas of their lives, personal and professional. Wolfgang and Gelila aren't just a couple, they're a team. Their connection proves that love is more than just affection. It's about building a partnership that can weather any storm, one where both partners rise together, making a lasting impact on the world around them. Tony Curtis was the quintessential matinee idol of the 1950s and 60s, famous for his good looks and undeniable charm. He had no shortage of admirers, but one of his relationships, which flew under the radar, was with an African-American woman named Jill. The two met in the 1950s, a time when interracial relationships were not only frowned upon, but could also be dangerous, especially for public figures. Despite the social pressures, Tony and Jill found a connection that went deeper than just physical attraction. The challenges they faced were enormous. In an era where interracial relationships were seen as taboo and could damage a celebrity's career, Tony knew that their love had to remain hidden. Although their romance was short-lived, it left a lasting mark on Tony. He often spoke about the struggle interracial couples faced during that time, reflecting on how societal pressures made it almost impossible for their love to thrive openly. Their relationship may have been brief, but it was a powerful reminder that even love that can't fully bloom in the light of day still leaves an imprint on the heart. Then there was Frank Sinatra, a man who, like Tony, wasn't afraid to challenge societal norms. Known for his smooth voice and even bigger persona, Sinatra's love life was just as iconic as his music. In the 1950s, rumors swirled about his romantic entanglements with two of Hollywood's most stunning and talented African-American women, Dorothy Dandridge and Eartha Kitt. Dorothy Dandridge, an Oscar-nominated actress and singer, was one of the first Black women to break through in Hollywood. Her rumored relationship with Sinatra was brief, but full of mutual admiration for each other's talent and spirit. At a time when interracial relationships were incredibly controversial, especially for celebrities, Sinatra and Dandridge had to keep their romance under wraps, knowing the potential fallout on their careers. Similarly, Sinatra was rumored to have had an affair with the sultry singer and actress Eartha Kitt. But like his relationship with Dorothy, this one too had to remain secret, given the racial climate of the time. Sinatra's willingness to cross racial lines in his relationships was revolutionary, and it spoke volumes about his belief in love over societal barriers. Frank Sinatra was never shy about voicing his strong belief in equality. He once said, "A friend to me has no race, no class, and belongs to no minority. My friendships are formed out of affection, mutual respect, and a feeling of having things in common. These are eternal values that cannot be categorized." Sinatra's relationships with actresses Dorothy Dandridge and Eartha Kitt weren't just fleeting affairs. They were subtle, yet powerful declarations that love doesn't recognize color. Fast forward a few decades, and you'll find NBA legend Dirk Nowitzki, whose career with the Dallas Mavericks earned him global recognition. But it wasn't just his basketball prowess that captured attention. His personal life did too. In 2012, Dirk married Jessica Olsen, a woman whose background uniquely blended cultures, born to a Kenyan mother and Swedish father. Jessica also has athletic roots. Her brothers, Martin and Marcus Olsen, are famous Swedish soccer players. Dirk and Jessica's love story began in 2010, and their bond grew quickly and naturally. Their marriage in many ways was groundbreaking, especially in the world of professional sports, where interracial unions often become media spectacles. As a German-born basketball legend marrying a black woman of mixed heritage, Dirk and Jessica challenged stereotypes and pushed back against outdated norms. Their union was a quiet but bold affirmation that love can cross all boundaries: cultural, racial, and societal. Together, Dirk and Jessica have created a beautiful family, raising 3 children: Malika, born in 2013, Max in 2015, and Morris in 2016. What's most remarkable about their relationship is that they've managed to keep things grounded, avoiding the media frenzy that often accompanies high-profile couples. They're known for their humility and commitment to each other, focusing on character and connection over societal expectations. Dirk's decision to marry Jessica wasn't about ticking boxes or making a statement. It was about love, plain and simple. Adam Housley and Tamera Mowry, when sister. Star Tamera Mowry married journalist and former professional baseball player Adam Housley in 2011. It quickly became one of the most talked about celebrity unions of the year. As an interracial couple in the public eye, their relationship was met with a mix of praise and criticism, especially on social media, where some couldn't seem to accept their love due to racial biases. But through all the noise and negativity, Tamera and Adam stood strong. They proved that their bond was rooted in something much deeper than what others could see: trust, respect, and a genuine understanding of one another. Their journey as a couple wasn't always smooth sailing. Tamera often found herself defending their love, especially when critics questioned their marriage. In one emotional moment, she shared, "It's hurtful because my husband and I are genuinely in love. We met, we fell in love, we dated, and we got married. It doesn't matter what color we are." Despite the challenges they faced, Tamera and Adam's love story only grew stronger. In 2012, they celebrated the birth of their first child, a son named Aiden. Then, in 2015, they welcomed their daughter, Araya, completing their family. Through it all, Tamera has been open about the struggles they've faced as an interracial couple. Her honesty has inspired many to look beyond the surface and focus on what truly matters in a relationship: love, partnership, and a deep connection. Thicke and Paula Patton, Robin. Thicke and Paula Patton were once the quintessential Hollywood power couple. When they married in 2005, their love story seemed like the stuff of dreams. Thicke, a singer and songwriter known for hits like Blurred Lines, and Patton, an actress with standout roles in Precious and Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, had a connection that stretched back more than 2 decades. They met as teenagers and grew up together, supporting each other through the ups and downs of their careers. Their relationship was unique for many reasons, one being that they were part of a high-profile, interracial marriage in the entertainment world. In a town where the spotlight often shines on their personal lives, Thicke and Patton seemed to have it all: a loving marriage, shared admiration, and a deep connection. Thicke often spoke about Patton with affection, calling her not only beautiful but incredibly talented. In return, Patton described Thicke as her biggest cheerleader, her rock, and the love of her life. In 2010, their love reached a new chapter when they welcomed their son, Julian, who became the center of their world. It seemed like their family was the picture of happiness, but despite their outwardly perfect life, cracks began to show in their marriage. After years of navigating both the highs and lows of their careers and personal lives, the couple announced their separation in 2014. Their divorce was finalized in 2015 after 21 years together, marking the end of a relationship that had once been a beacon of love that transcended racial boundaries. While their marriage eventually came to an end, the early years were a testament to the idea that love, when built on respect and admiration, can overcome many challenges, even in the public eye. Phil Collen and Helen L. Simmons. Phil Collen, the legendary guitarist from Def Leppard, has been married multiple times, but his 2010 marriage to costume designer Helen L. Simmons was one that really turned heads. Known for his hard rock lifestyle, Collen shocked many when he tied the knot with Helen, an African-American woman who worked behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. Their love story wasn't one you'd expect from a rock star. The couple met through mutual friends, and over time, their bond deepened. Despite their different backgrounds, Collen's rock star life and Helen's fashion career, they connected through their shared passion for creativity and adventure. Their marriage marked a shift for Phil, who had spent years riding the highs and lows of fame. With Helen by his side, he found something he'd been missing: a grounding presence, a partner who brought balance and stability to his whirlwind world. In the rock and roll world, where interracial relationships weren't exactly the norm, Phil and Helen's marriage was a powerful break from tradition. It showed that love, even in a scene dominated by larger-than-life personalities and extreme lifestyles, can be the steady force that unites two people, no matter their race or background. What are your thoughts on interracial relationships? Drop a comment below and let us know. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories about your favorite stars.